What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and I want to talk about this Antonio Brown clip that's going viral briefly, and I want to look back at that Raiders deal because now it's saying that he's blown over $100 million that he earned in his career, and we saw all of the things that led to Antonio Brown being out the league. He got a few more opportunities than someone without his talent would have got, but I want to look back at what Adam Schefter said back in 2019 when the Raiders was first giving him his deal. Now they said the Raiders are adding money to Antonio Brown's deal. He will now have 3 years worth over $50 million with incentives to go above $54 million. It once wasn't guaranteed, but now he has $30 million of that guaranteed, or over $30 million of that guaranteed. Well, apparently in September of 2019, they fined him to over $215,000 for conduct detrimental to the team. That caused the Raiders to void over $29 million of the guaranteed money. And that's why Antonio Brown wanted out of there. That was the end of that. Now, that would come back to bite him just 6 years later in life, because now he's saying he ran through the money. Let's roll the clip.
Do you know your total career earnings in the NFL?
I think I made 100 million if you count off the field everything.
100 million.
Yeah,
For sure.
for sure.
How much did you spend of that 100 million?
Well, I just filed Chapter 11 bankrupt. You know, so
So did we go
I
through
spent all of it. I blew all my
spent
money.
it all?
Yeah, I blew everything.
Honestly, there's nothing
All
wrong
of
with
it.
that, because guess what? If you're having fun, wait, over what period of time?
If you had a great time, then
No,
more
listen.
power to you. But
I just had my financial, like my people who like in my life, they just took the money I made in the NFL and they didn't make that money mine no more. You know what I'm saying? They put it away from my family generation and the trust, and then just threw it out there. So whatever I made in football, I just saved it for my family generation, my kids.
so they like invested it into the market, or
Yeah, they just took JP Mortgage. They gave them a nice percentage out there monthly. You know, we don't do the market because the market is like the market. You know,
Up and down, yeah.
yeah, it's like missionary. You know.
It only goes one way.
It's a vulnerable time for a lot of these young dudes, you feel me? They don't be taking care of their chicken right, you feel me? So if it was me, or if I had an opportunity to let these little young sahibs know something, I say take care of y'all money, African, because that shit don't last forever. Now, I done been on the other side of retirement, and it's good when you get over there and you can do what you want to. So I tell y'all right now, while y'all in it, take care of y'all bread. So when y'all done, you go ahead and take care of yourself. So while y'all at it right now, take care of y'all bodies, you know what I mean? Don't take care of y'all chicken, you feel me? Don't take care of y'all mentals, because look, we ain't lasting that long. You know, I had a couple of players that I played with that, you know what I mean? They no longer here no more, they no longer. So I mean, you feel me? Start taking care of y'all mentals, y'all bodies, and y'all chicken. So when y'all, you know, ready to walk away, you walk away and you be able to do what you want to do. But I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Antonio has been a guy who's been a me guy. He's been a guy who is self-centered in a way where he cares about the individual stats, how I'm being treated, how I'm being perceived or portrayed. But the one player you can't have infighting with is Ben Roethlisberger. There are many players in an organization that Antonio Brown is above. Ben is not one of those people. But for it to get to a point where he's held out of this game, a must-win for the Pittsburgh Steelers, when you see him on the sideline in a mink coat before the game, not Pittsburgh Steelers gear, not sideline gear, totally separate from team, that lets you know that this is an issue that's not only about today or yesterday, it's been something that's happening throughout the year and his career, right? You're never going to touch Antonio Brown. A quick story, Antonio Brown is walking past the weight room in training camp. And right now we hear that Mike Wallace has turned down his deal. Antonio's going into his third year. You hear that Mike Wallace has turned down his deal. And I knew already that they were going to offer Antonio. And he's walking past, and I turn to the strength coach, and I say, when you give him money, you're going to create a monster. That day in practice, Antonio and I almost get into a fight because he's saying things to Coach LeBeau. He's screaming at Coach LeBeau, screaming at us defensively, don't touch me, I'm the franchise, this and that, because he already had that mindset. And now with success, with money, these things come. And you hear more about him, some things that we don't need to bring up now, but when it comes to just being a good teammate, when it comes to just being supportive, to understanding that you're trying to achieve one goal, that doesn't matter to him. What matters to him is 19 attempts, 14 catches, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Saints. That's what's important to Antonio Brown.
Now, a lot of us common people would file Chapter 13, most individuals. Chapter 11, a lot of times you'll see companies file for that, and they can continue operating while they paying their creditors or repaying their creditors, and they typically don't have a trustee. Whereas in Chapter 13, a lot of times there's a trustee appointed to distribute the debtor's claims to the creditors, and typically a period of 3 to 5 years, right, where that's happening. So this is a guy who was at the top of his game, probably would still be playing in the NFL if it was just about talent, in some capacity. But instead, some of his antics, not handling the prime of his career and the prime of his potential earnings properly, we find ourselves here. And it's very unfortunate to see a player as gifted as Antonio Brown to be here. And I'm not speaking about whether he deserves this or not. I know that'll be a big topic in the comment section, like, oh man, he did this to himself, who cares, yada, yada, yada. I'm just speaking to the youngsters that may see it going forward. You do not want to be in this predicament, especially when it's avoidable. A lot of these things are avoidable. And you think about what he made, he didn't even make nearly what he could have, right? He could be $400 or $500 million man by now with endorsements and everything if he would have conducted himself properly throughout that time. And it's not even about do everything they tell you to do, right? I know people want to go against the power structure, and sometimes you have to, when it encroaches on your moral compass. But I would say that sometimes, you got to remember that you are playing in their league, and by all accounts, it seems like he could have showed up to work and did what he needed to do, right, to be a professional. I know Ryan Clark said that when they gave him money, he was going to turn into a monster. Evidently, Ryan Clark saw something in his character that, people may look at, oh, he hating on him and all that. But see, the new generation, everything can't be hating, guys. Some things is good, honest feedback that you need to become a better individual. Some things is necessary. You need to be uncomfortable in your dysfunction. Somebody need to step up to the plate and say it before you spiral. Now you where Antonio is, and now you like, why ain't nobody tell me? Well, somebody tried to tell you, but they were called a hater at the time. See what I'm saying? So you have to be receptive, and you have to, even if it doesn't feel good in the moment, because nobody likes being told what they're doing wrong, but sit with it sometimes, give it thought, extract any truth from it that you can. As men, sometimes we have to kind of overlook that delivery piece, for our own betterment. Because if it's some truth in there and I am headed down the wrong road, I really need to take heed to that. I can't get in my feelings, because you could end up here and going through $100 million. If you look at 100, right? He's not even really going through 100. He's going through probably about $40 million in total. After taxes, after paying your agents, paying everyone in between. That's what you probably left with. So it's easy to blow through that. You look at that gross number, not that net amount that you actually have. That you could go wrong, or things could go wrong really fast. Things go wrong really fast. You could have the wrong people in place, dealing with your finances and things of that nature. But shout out to Antonio Brown for telling that story. It's one that people need to hear. And if I was Antonio Brown, I would try to get some kind of deal with the league to come talk to the younger players. You know, where I can make a little money, but also I can share my cautionary tale because even in this, right? Even in losing that much money, there's a story to be told in that. And it may not be as lucrative as the money you lost, but it could be more valuable for the generations to come, in my opinion, man. But let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.